Let's see how this goes. Let's see how this goes. Let's see how this goes. I'm your host for this, whatever this is going to be. Oji-san America. Call me Ojiame. What we're doing today is we're going to take the previous game I made, part of a game I made, the early portion, in RPG Maker VX Ace. That's the platform. That's the software where you can make some pixel games of your own. And we're going to take out the text from the in-game text. We're going to make that into Japanese. The interface is going to be English, and it's going to be a bilingual game for language learners. This way, in theory, an English speaker can play the game and challenge themselves by having to read and engage with the language of Japanese on the screen. Now, there's a lot that has been done in this previously, so there's going to be a lot of sculpting out, fixing up mechanics, so we're also going to be learning some gameplay or game development mechanics on its own. Let's hop into this. It's going to be a chill stream. Let me pump up that background music for you. And if you're watching this on replay, thank you for coming in. You can catch more replay. Hey, RPG, how you doing? How you doing right now? You're just jumping in while we are setting up a recreation of a previous game I started making in RPG Maker VX Ace. It's a pixel game maker. You make your own game. And in this iteration, I'm going to be sculpting out the English text from inside the game, replacing with Japanese. This way, interface stays in English, but the person playing can challenge themselves. So it's half language learning stream, half game development stream. Let's see how that goes. Alright, along the way I'll be giving a tour of what's in RPG Maker. So we got the main screen here. On the left bottom square, we have all the different maps that you can come across inside the game. And what I have here is the genre is essentially politics, government. And this is I guess, alternate Japan, because technically this is when the lore of the game is essentially after the thing that happened last century. The American occupation split the top of the country into a zone, and that essentially turned into its own country. We call that Yezo here. As actually, Yezo is the former name given by the indigenous people, the Ainu, for the island of Hokkaido. We also have Aomori Prefecture down here. And this is the overworld map. So in this game, we're going to be going across different cities as our main character essentially becomes a politician suddenly and has to contend with that world and figure out her space in it. So I guess let's start with the prologue. Let's wipe out some text. I have to find out where the event is what creates the dynamic on the screen. So I have to find out where the origin of this whole game starts. That's not it, that's just a character. Well, it's been a while since I've been here. I'm not finding where the origin of this game actually is. I think I changed here's. I think this is what starts the actual game, this event. In terms of progress, I would say the prologue in the first, what did I story introduction was done. I also have the in-game combat mechanic, which is debating. It's hard to transfer politics into a game like this, or a game engine like this. Let me see if I can pull that up. It's in database. Oh, yes, okay. These are the various skills that you would attack with. I have different forms of, or what would I call them? Skill sets, rhetoric, retorts, accusations, and also a little bit flavor that changes them. Appealing, emotional, earnest. Oh, we also got some of these negative ones. Duplicitous, retort. So we're going to be filling these in if we keep this up. And also divisive. Everyone's favorite. That's sarcasm. We also have the different parties that someone can join, denoted by these items. What is it? Let me recall. 5-point independence. That's a group of independents. This is originally going to be an open world, choose your own path, but that's a tackle. That's an undertaking in itself. What is this? Keizai Jiu To, which is translation literally of Economic Freedom Party. Frontier Party. Oh, I forget what CI is. So let me pull up the actual data sheet. Over here I have every little piece of lore and detail that I needed to jump off with. CI is Country Initiative. Okay. And BU is Butsuto. That is kind of a quasi-Komeito, which is in Japan a sect of Buddhism political party, even though it's technically not connected to religion. Okay, but in the game we also have under the category of weapons, how do you translate that into a game? Well, I guess your ideology you can pick in the game. They give you different buffs and different bonuses when you're actually in a debating combat mode. Armors we translate to support, and boosters and coalitions. So these are actually typical of what you might find when you're in government. Having party support is important also. But we're putting that cart ahead of the horse here. So let's see where the opening prologue text is. Was it in here? No, that's just a fade in. So this event fades in the screen, moves the player character all the way across the map, moves the Kagami, which is essentially the main character's mother, the current politician, and who has to step aside, and then the main character is the Senate politician. So this changes the class. So this is not the actual start mechanic where the flavor text is. Where is that though? Oh, it's at the top of that. That's where I keep all this. Oh, no, that's just bringing in the screen and changing the weather. I may have deleted this actually. So let's do a quick test. Let me bring up this screen that popped up for you. Let's see how starting a new game actually works. Oh, I deleted a lot. Alright, that just brings us to the press room. Alright, so we're going to be making a prologue. Actually, wait. I need to know where the player character is. It's in the press room, but there's multiple ones. This is the, okay, I'm telling myself to delete this. Interesting. Let's see if this actually kicks off the event chain now. Alright, so the scripted events are somewhat working. It's clearly moving the player character. And it's getting into the... It's hitting a wall. So we need to go back to this event I found earlier. Let's see what this is supposed to be. I see the player characters following. Where? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 5 up. Let's see, 5 left. Start here. So this is the panorama of the hometown that we start with. But at some point we should be seeing the Kugami character. There we go. Alright, following her. And now we got the cicadas. Let me turn off the background. Okay, here's the text. Okay. Ooh. The Japanese isn't supported. I might have to edit that. I don't know. The event fades to black. Cyberpunk reference. So in this, you're able to choose responses and different actions, and that will change your personality and your what we saw in the attacks and defense and all that. That it influences, it's supposed to influence who's supporting you, who's against you, things like that. So let's close that. So this intro is essentially working, but we need to find the actual text that appeared on the screen. Was it in this? No. Let's go searching for it. It would be in that. What does this trigger? It needs to trigger something. Fade and erase event. Fade out and we change the player. Here's the difficult part of game dev. If you don't leave yourself good notes, you forget what's going on. And it's hard to find the next step. Zoom out a little. Okay, let me just double check again. Okay. There are global events that could be the cause of this. Oh no. Oh, we changed into this map. Is that what we're doing? Oh, that makes sense. We have the establishing shot. If you look on the bottom, left side, bottom. The maps I have clearly labeled hometown establishing shot. Brings us into hometown. That's what the event was saying. We were reading a moment ago. And this again tints the screen. Okay, here. This is the meat and potatoes. Alright. Figure out how this looks. Ayala. Oh, you can't see this over there. Interesting. Let me make a new pop out. So I'm making a new pop-out screen so you can actually see what we're going to be writing. This way we can do the Japanese learning portion of this. Putting this on top, at the focus screen, there's one more pop-out text. Let me cue that up for you. Let's put it right at the top middle there. So we're going to now be doing the actual translation aspect of this. Let me make that bigger. Yeah. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Now you can actually see it. Alright, so main character's mother is talking to her. Main character's mother is a politician in the Yezo National Assembly. The main character, her daughter, Ayala, is going to be provided, or she's going to be filling in her mother's seat, Kagami, her mother. So Ayala is going to be becoming a Senate politician, filling in her seat, but we're going to be turning this actual story more into Japanese right now, alright? And if you're just joining, you're a little bit confused, the system we're working on, the game maker, is RPG Maker VX Ace. In it, you can make games. They look like pixel games unless you create your own assets, provide your own assets. And this game is something I started a couple of years ago as a test to play around with. It is a RPG following a individual who suddenly becomes a politician, has to navigate government and that world. So we're going to be turning not the interface into Japanese, we're leaving that English so a Japanese language learner can pick up the game and actually play it, know how it's working overall, don't have to worry about the mechanics, but you can focus in as a learner, focus in on the text. Alright. And it's not going to be fluent text, but we're going to be doing it nonetheless, so we learn here. And if anyone has any suggestions or questions, please leave it in the chat. And if you're watching this on archive, either on Twitch or on YouTube, send me a message on Twitter or leave it in a comment. If it's on YouTube, leave a comment down below. We'll build this game together. So the Kagami character is a little bit poetic here. So there's no honorific at the end because it's the main character's her daughter. So if you're familiar, you don't need the honorific. What I know for children is Kodomo. Sunrise. We need the word for sunrise. It's Taiyo. Taiyo is sun. So let me pop up into Weblio and find sunrise. Looks like Hinode ni is sunrise. So, Hinode mae ni. If you've been following on Twitter, we've been doing some grammar practice with mae. So mae ni. Let's put Odomo afterwards. So Hinode mae ni Domo ga was it okite. So like, we need negative, so zen, a strong negative, zen no okiru. It's actually verb, right? Okiru, oki. Oh, what's the, how do you say should? I'm putting tada. Oki. Tada. You actually have her trail off there. So zenzen okidara. It's like pointing negative. Actually, this sentence is completely different Japanese. Hinode mae ni kodomo ga okitara. If children wait before the sunrise. Trails off. And then we can do Taiyo no Kage. Is that right, Kage? This is right, Kage. Or shadow. Tayo no Kage. De Sumo. But Itsumo worked for forever, right? Oh, no, wait, no. Zutto. I like Zutto. Zutto. Yeah, that works. Let's preview how this actually looks on screen. That's another pop-up, but it's a quick pop-up, so I don't need to open it. Let's change her actual name on screen. Kagami. Let's check in my notes to see if that is actually good. Is this actually how I use their name? So, Kagami. No, those are two different ones, aren't they? Actually, I probably should write it out nonetheless. So Kagami can mean mirror, right? Yeah, typically Kagami means mirror. That was the first kanji I had. But in this game, Kagami, the kanji for this character I'm using is the kanji that translates as model or maybe paragon, an example. Because of course the main character is living in the shadow of her mother, and also Kagami is highly respected, you could say. So it's kind of like a model citizen, model politician. But I should write it out. Alright, that's the first one done. Then the response. I've got to open up that screen for you too. Hello. Not it. Here it is. Okay, here it is. It's just hidden behind. Let me bring it up. There you go. Now we can follow along. Here's a good word for us to follow along with: cicadas. You hear them all the time. Well, during a certain part of this year, you're going to hear them all the time. Cicadas is zemi. Zemi. Let's see here. So, I got like this. nervous about becoming a politician in the next day in game. It's a noun. Do you just use node at the end? It's a good place to make mistakes. Practicing. Let's see. Node? Da node? Let's go with node. It's casual kind of thing. Neru for sleep. Can't sleep. Straightforward. It's next one. Okay, looks like the OBS overlay just defaults to the main screen every time it goes by. So what I'm going to do is play some clever games here. It's not popping up. Kagami here. Let's change the speech code. Kagami. So here's the trouble. These characters weren't being picked up earlier when we ran through as a test run. So we may have to plug it or something. But let's just go with this for now since we can see it. Naruhodo. Is that a good response? So, so is, oh, it's not a good response. Here's the tricky part. There's a lot of words in this that are not good one-to-ones. Cease with the poetics, let's make something new. Let's reference Shicho Mayor. So Shicho. Shicho ni natta. Shicho ni natta. Let's find some words in our word box. Let me pop that up for you. Down the bottom left is the word box. Let's see if there's something in here useful we can find. So we're practicing words we already have. There it is. I knew I had the word temporary. Kari, temporary. Kari, tar. There's probably a different word for temporary mayor, acting mayor, but let's go with this. Kari no shicho ni natta. Oki ni. Put that in kanji. Jibun utagao. Utagao is to doubt. Now we don't need light one. Utagata. Utagata. Let me expand that for you. So Kagami is saying Kare no shichou ni natta toki ni jibun ni utagatta. So when she was made a temporary mayor at a time previously, she did it herself. Okay. Just relating to the main character. Alright. It's setting up a little bit of the story, backstory. Shikashi is a form of however, but I believe it's only literary in text, but I like it. Shikashi. So what would you say to give reassurance, words of reassurance? So a little bit of a distant character. Having grown up as a politician and always away, working. Maybe just a straightforward blunt. Let's see what's on the list. Kakotaru. You go resolute. Kakotaru. Firm, resolute. Kakotaru. Oh, ishi. Right, ishi. It's like will. Ishi wo. Kakotaru. Kakotaru. Ishi wo. How do you say? Elicit is like hikidasu. So, let's see. Kakotaru ishi wo hikidasu. Elicit, bring out a resolute will or volition. That works. You don't need too many words like this prologue. Let's make that past tense. She's talking about herself. So again, Kare no shichou ni natta toki ni jibun ni utagatta. Shikashi kakotaru ishi wo hikidashita. So that there. Oh, well, the screen has just taken over. Every time we close it, this giant one pops up here. Let's get rid of that next text box, bring back that Ayala. Bring up the text box for you because we're going to get some good words in here. What would you say in response to that call for being resolute? Let's actually bring it into the game. Kokai de Kokai ni is shorter form ni, I think will work as the correct particle there. Kokai ni. Giin is one of the words for politician, the other is seijika. Seijika, straightforward, is seiji plus ka. So it's indicating the profession. Giin is more like legislative. Giin to. I know I have a word for like debating. Let's fill this out first. Kokai ni. Hoon is legislation. So we can put that after Giinto. Let's go to the bottom left. See right here we have Hoon, legislation. Contend. That would be a good like anxious word. And challenge is essential. Pretty sure I have a word that matches. Anyone knows the word for challenge or to contend? I'm trying to think of it, but I can't think of it at this moment. Seicho? No. Seicho is growth. No, okay. No, that's not it. I always just use the word fight. I don't want to just use the word fight. It's not right. Some lazy. No, that's not it. Oh, back to Webleo. Chosen. It says Sencho, but it's Chosen. Chosen to challenge. Chosen suru koto ga arimasen. There you go. That's negative form. So kokai ni giin to hoan wo chosen. Oh no, I just blanked on it. Chosen, right? Chosen, right? 今回に議員と法案を挑戦することがではない。Never Or just the Zen Zen. Because as a character point in the game, it's essentially making the excuse for why this character is never starting at essentially XP 0. So, Kokai ni in the National Assembly, Giginto with politicians, Hoan wo. That's for, you know, no, this probably can use a little bit better. Shucho. Shucho is to advocate for something, right? Shucho. No. Shucho. Oh, it is Shucho. That is actually the kanji. Okay. So, Hoan no tame no Shucho. You know, I like this better now. It's a little bit complex grammar point, but I enjoy using tameni. Tameni referring to the object before it is for the purpose of, so for legislation or policy. Kokai ni giin to hoan no tame ni zenzen shucho suru koto de wa nai. Never had the experience of advocating for policy with legislators in the National Assembly. That seems solid there. So finish up with one more response from Gami and then we'll test it out. See how this game starts off. So this was setting up that there will be a chief of staff. She's sending someone to help the main character out and introducing a little bit of the game mechanics in reference only. Oh. There we go. And you can actually see what I'm trying to refer to. So let's bring up the database, the reference sheet, and find out a little bit more about the characters. So Chitose Maru is going to be the chief of staff. I'm pretty sure I have the... No, I have this somewhere else actually. I'm looking for the job titles. I have that in the novel, light novel form of this game, which I was also using to practice Japanese. Just making one and you really get into sentence structure and a little bit more of the dialogue. And you challenge yourself with a wider variety of vocabulary. So let me pull that up on the side. Title Chief Advisor. bring that on the screen. Now we can go over it together. So this is the kanji for chief advisor. Let me go into Weblio and let me bring up the correct pronunciation again. Saiko. Saiko is the first part. So that's highest, supreme. And then komon. Komon. Komo. Is advisor. Komon. Saiko komon. So she's, okay, referring to that. No seikatsu. Seijika no seikatsu. Tsuite. Setsume suru. Able to. Let's use the potential form. Yakiru. Tanomu. So what we're going for here is Kagami to say Seijika no Seikatsu in Tsuite about politicians' life, activities, Setsume Dekiru, able to explain about politicians' activities, daily life. Saiko Komon. Saiko Komon wa Joho information. Joho Tanomu. So it's basically saying ask the chief advisor for information. So just konman. So does it work for like evening and night? No, but konban works. Konban. It's basically saying leave all those worries to tomorrow or another day. Just get sleep. Let's review the sentence again. Seijika no seikatsu ni tsuite setsume dekiru saiko komon wa jouhou o tanomu konban made neiru ga daiji da yo. That works for a good start. First part of the prologue. I'm going to switch over to the playtest so we can see it. There we go. I'm going to turn off the background music. And we can't see any of it, so I have to find some plugin so we can actually have the Japanese text. But for now, that works. That's a good test stream. Thank you for joining me on this little test stream. See how this would work. Practicing a little bit of Japanese while making the game. Yeah, there's a little bit of technical issues to work out, but it's been alright. Alright. Thank you for joining this surprise test stream. I'll leave you with a little bit nice music to end with.